What's up, everybody? It's your girl Caramel here, aka Charelle Unique. So I decided that I was going to start doing some of my own reviews here. Sorry if you see my little Christmas wrappings here I got on the couch, but I'm going to start doing some of my own reviews whenever I've seen or read some material, and when my other friends have not seen it or read it or don't plan to. So here I am. So this particular review, it is on the book A Song for You, and it is written by You-Robyn Crawford. So if we have any Whitney Houston fans that are viewing today, then you're going to enjoy this review. So I'm going to start with non-spoilers, and then I'll go off into spoilers. So as non-spoilers, I purchased the Audible version of this book because I am a woman on the go. And so I used to read a lot as a kid, but since being an adult and I'm running around, Audible is just the best choice for me. So it's narrated by You-Robyn Crawford, and like I said, it's called A Song for You. And You-Robyn talks about her life with Whitney Houston, and she also talks about just her life in general, her backstory, all of that type of stuff. Listen, y'all, she spills the tea. And like I said, I'm going to do non-spoiler in the beginning, spoiler at the end. This is the non-spoiler section. She spills the tea, okay? So you want to get in there and you want to listen or read the book. I highly recommend it if you are a Whitney Houston fan. And if you just want to know what was the dynamics of their friendship. I really enjoyed the book, like I really did. Like I said, it was narrated by You-Robyn Crawford. Her voice is quite soothing. She doesn't have like a lot of emotion behind her voice, but it's just quite calm and soothing. I don't have much critique. I mean, if there was, I would say maybe I would like to have heard a little more about her flaws. Missteps maybe that she had when it came to their relationship. But other than that, I enjoyed it. And as far as the candy bar rating, because I am caramel and we just gotta have the candy bar rating, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But I am like, I'm a fan. Like Whitney Houston, let me tell y'all, when I was 5, I used to sing I Have Nothing. So I'm super young singing I Don't Want to Hurt Anymore, and my great grandma's like laughing at me because she's like, yeah, okay. So I have been a fan of Whitney Houston my whole life, and because I'm a professional singer too, like it's like right up my alley. So if you are like me, a fanatic, and you want to know the scoop, get this book, A Song for You, You-Robyn Crawford. All right, we're getting into spoilers, y'all. So I'm going to give you a few moments to just close out on this video. Thanks for watching. And then I'll get off into a few spoilers. All right. So, few spoilers. You-Robyn gives the tea, y'all. She really does. She shares her backstory. She came from a household of abuse. Her father was abusive toward her mother. So she kind of felt a certain way toward men. She dated both men and women throughout her journey. And then when she was about 19, she met Whitney. Whitney was 17, and they both worked at a summer camp together. And so there was like an instant connection, and Robyn just always felt like, I got you. I'm going to protect you. Whitney was kind of wild growing up. And so she was just kind of always, seemed like she was kind of always trying to prove herself. Like, oh, I could do what everybody else is doing, you know. But the reality is she really had another purpose. So, Whitney had told Robyn, like, look, I started doing drugs at the age of 14. And so, yeah, Whitney started doing drugs at the age of 14. Robyn would join in with her socially, and they would just do it to have a good time. But they eventually kind of put barriers around it. Like, okay, look, where we're headed, this can't go with us. And so, with time, it started to affect Robyn's life. Her mom started to notice a difference in her. And so Robyn just started to see, like, I don't really like the way this makes me feel. I want to take a different route. I want to be healthier. And she tried to bring Whitney along in that. And Whitney would say, okay, and then just never fully follow through until she got to a point where she was just like, I'm not ready yet. I'm going to do it when I'm ready. And so they dealt with that. And it got to a point where Robyn had even intervened. She did her intervention, and she spoke with Whitney's mom, Sissy Houston. And not much came from that. Now let me tell y'all, Sissy was a whole trip, y'all. She was a jerk. She was mean. There's a story in the book where Whitney had finally got her own place, and Whitney moved out. And just as she was about to get into the car, Sissy came to the door, grabbed a bottle of Summer's Eve, held it up in the air and said, "You forgot your dish." And just yelled it out. And Whitney she was in tears. She was in tears. There's another story where Whitney had to wear weave because Clive Davis wanted her to start wearing extensions to give her like a more glammed out look. So she had wore the weave for some time. Well, it was time for her to let her hair rest. So she had taken the weave out. Sissy came over to the house like, why'd you take your weave out? You look like a little boy. Let me tell you, she was mean. She even slapped Robyn at one point in time, twice in one day. And so, although Sissy was cruel, Robyn was very careful about how she depicted Sissy. Like and even Bobby, she kept it with the facts. So this is what happened. This is how I felt about it. That was it. It wasn't like, let me take this opportunity to bash these people. You know, it was never like that. She was very respectful of Whitney, very cautious and careful of how she spoke of Whitney and the legacy that Whitney left. She even made mention of Sissy's legacy, musical legacy, and gave her props as well. But she was honest about what went on. So, I could really, like, appreciate that, because Robyn was saying, like, how she kind of felt like with all the controversy behind Whitney, she felt like the legacy that Whitney had left kind of got drowned, and she wanted to be very, like, strategic in how she did her story. Of course, she talked about their romantic relationship and how they had, towards the beginning, they had a few sexual encounters, a few romantic encounters. But then as Whitney was going into becoming a star, Whitney gave her a Bible and told her, you know, I want you to just love me unconditionally. But we have to stop with this romantic side. So Robyn was hurt by that. But she knew she would still be in Whitney's life, and she was daily. She helped her as she wasn't Whitney's personal assistant, but it was kind of like a second personal assistant in a sense, where she kind of helped her out with anything that she needed, and making sure things went smoothly in the business. And she was by Whitney's side for a long time, even well after marrying Bobby. And the final straw for Robyn, Whitney was on drugs. She would start to miss a lot of her recordings and shows. So she had a recording with a very famous singer, male singer, and she didn't show up to it. So Clive was like, okay, Robyn, can you send a I'm sorry gift to just say, you know, sorry I missed this session from Whitney, love Whitney. And so Robyn did what she was told. And then Robyn went and told Whitney, and Bobby Brown went off. Like, how can you send some other man a gift from my wife? You've crossed the line. Excuse me, y'all. And so Whitney allowed him to speak to her that way, and even joined in. And at that point, that's when Robyn resigned, and Whitney allowed her to. But with time, Whitney, of course, wanted her to come back, but Robyn couldn't bring herself back because she, at this point, was a grown woman and had not really invested in her own life. So she went on her quest to kind of find herself. So she went through being broke and being on her own. She ended up marrying one of the people that Whitney had introduced her to. So, like, there was a lady in business that they were working with, and so Robyn ended up marrying this lady, and they adopted twins. Robyn went through a lot. Like, her mother ended up with AIDS and ended up dying with AIDS, and her brother also ended up dying of AIDS. And so it's unknown as to how her mother got AIDS. So she dealt with a lot. And so she would still kind of check on Whitney from afar, and her and her wife had made the decision that they would always have their door open to Whitney if she had come. And then shortly after, they got the call that Whitney had passed, and they just thought that they had more time. And I found out that she went through some of the struggle of finding a seat at Whitney's funeral as well, just like Bobby Brown. Y'all know what that's about. Y'all know who's behind that too. Because Whitney's mom never really liked Robyn and never wanted Robyn around. Although Robyn was a writer and really made sure that Whitney's voice was being heard and the things that she wanted was being done, and nobody else was really listening to Whitney's wants. Nobody else was really empowering Whitney. And it was just sad to see how things ended up with her. Yeah. A song for you. So takeaways is like investing in your own life and being a genuine friend. She was a genuine friend. And just loving people unconditionally. And just being strong through difficult times. And the power of starting your life over. It's really cool that you have an opportunity to do that whenever you choose. So, like I said before, candy bar rating, I give this book a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed A Song for You, written by Robyn Crawford. Her life and her interactions with the legendary, iconic Whitney Houston. Alright, I'm out of here. It's your girl Charelle Unique, aka Caramel. Check me out. I got a couple more reviews I'm going to do, and I'll still have this outfit on. So, I holla.